Well, we do have breaking news involving the FBI search of Mar-a-Lago. A federal judge now demanding more information from lawyers for former President Trump, giving them until Friday of this week to explain in more detail their request for a special master to review documents found on the property. All this as the man who oversaw part of Trump's 2016 campaign and was later pardoned by him for bank and tax fraud now says it's a near certainty his former boss will again seek the Oval Office. So NewsNation correspondent Kelly Meyer live in Washington to talk about this. Kelly, what else did Paul Manafort tell incoming NewsNation host Chris Cuomo?
Well, Nichole, he didn't shy away from talking about the details of the raid at former President Trump's home in Mar-a-Lago, saying that it not only likely increased his chances of running in 2024, but saying that it also poses a threat to democracy. This as we're learning new details about what was inside those boxes that Trump took from the White House. Take a look at this letter. It's from the National Archives to Trump's lawyers, saying that Trump took more than 700 pages of some of the government's most classified documents. The letter is from May 10th, and it's referencing those 15 boxes recovered from Trump's Florida estate in January. The National Archives saying the items were marked as, quote, classified national security information, up to the level of top secret. Now, this letter doesn't address the latest records recovered in June or in the search just 2 weeks ago. Trump is pushing to stop the investigation into those materials taken until a special master, that's a neutral third party, is selected. The former president says the Department of Justice is treating him unfairly and privileged materials may have been seized. Now, close allies of the former president say the FBI search is making a 2024 run more likely for Trump. Paul Manafort, a former Trump campaign manager, telling incoming NewsNation host Chris Cuomo that he thinks there's a, quote, 96% chance that Trump runs again.
You believe the former president, Donald Trump, is going to run again in 2024. Do you still believe that?
Absolutely. More so now than I did 2 weeks ago.
And we could get more answers in the days to come. The Justice Department facing a deadline to provide a redacted copy of the affidavit that contains some of the most sensitive and vital information surrounding the search, along with an explanation for the suggested redactions. That deadline coming up this Thursday. Nichole?
All right, Kelly Meyer in Washington, thank you. And a reminder for you, you can watch Chris Cuomo's new show starting this fall right here on NewsNation. In the meantime, former President Trump's legal team now asking that federal judge to appoint a special master to ensure the Justice Department returns his private documents taken during that search at Mar-a-Lago. The new lawsuit marks the first legal filing by Trump's team after FBI agents carried out that warrant earlier this month. Trump argues in his suit that his constitutional rights were violated and privileged materials may have been taken. So let's bring in David Weinstein, attorney and former federal prosecutor. As always, David, great to speak with you. In layman's terms, explain.
My pleasure, Nichole.
What is a special master and why is the former president asking for one?
Well, a special master is an independent third party who's going to take a look at what was seized, compare it to what was requested to be seized, and then determine whether or not there are any privileged documents contained within what was seized. Now, the reason that they're pushing for a special master is because that's someone who's not connected with the Department of Justice, have no real skin in the fight, and so they're hoping that that person would be more neutral and detached and rule in their favor with regard to a privilege that might attach to some of these documents.
All right, so David, but could this request for a special master, could that actually hurt the former president, considering the documents in question arguably all belong to the U.S. government?
Well, Nichole, I think it could actually hurt him because he's asking for this person to independently review what's there. He has to assert a privilege, and a lot of that is what the judge is now demanding that his lawyers do. What privilege are you asserting? Are you asserting the executive privilege? If so, that's going to be overridden potentially by the incumbent president asking to see documents that contain confidential, highly classified information. Is it an attorney-client privilege? If so, tell us why there are documents contained within there that contain communications between you and your lawyers that express a legal opinion about something. So what may come out of this is that this independent person now, who's not part of the Department of Justice, says, well, there's nothing in there that qualifies or satisfies the privilege, so the Department of Justice was right, and that person's independent. That's not someone within the department telling Trump and his lawyers what was going on here.
All right, and David, quick answer here. We're running out of time, but obviously you're a former federal prosecutor. You're saying that this could hurt Trump. So what is the legal strategy for his team here?
They're trying to get their story out. They're trying to get ahead of things. They want the narrative to be in their direction. But be careful what you wish for. They're not going to necessarily get the narrative in their direction. And now DOJ can reply publicly in public documents and give out more information about what's in there. So that's what might hurt him down the road.
Thank you for watching. Go to newsnationnow.com to find NewsNation on your television provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.